So what does the book talk about? Now, we don't really, and Deliberate did not make it into some kind of a story of, well, IBM did this, and Dell did this, and this other company did that. But we asked the questions, how can someone understand some of the conceptual anchors of what is happening in this change around us? And we converged on the very simple model, what we term as the ISP model. Okay, it's very easy to remember. So I stands for identity, S stands for status, and P stands for power. Now think about identities as a starting point. Now, I'm sure all of us will agree that we are social animals. Okay? We rely a lot upon our social identities. And we, in fact, live by them almost daily in the various organizations we interact in, whether it's the school, the workplace, the church, or whatever. Now think about how these social identities are constructed. Of course, they're constructed over time, but there is one key assumption. They're constructed based on the notion of similarity. What I mean is, you have to, or you try to be as similar as possible to that organization or that institution that you want to be socially identified with. And this is, of course, done deliberately in society. If you take, for example, a 4-year-old child, you look at 4-year-old children, and they are a delight to watch. They are spontaneous, they're creative, they observe, they experiment, and they make mistakes, and most important of all, they ask questions. And when they ask questions, what is the response they get? The word no. Okay? The research shows that a typical young child hears the word no, or some equivalent of that, more than 200 times a single day. And what we do is we take this very bright, spontaneous bundle of energy, and we mold with all these constraints and negative signals to conform to the societal institutions that we are part of. Now that has its benefits. I'm not trying to say that's bad. It has benefits, has its strengths. But think about what happens when suddenly you have this online space where you have freedom, where you have far fewer constraints. And now you find that people are forming identities online which are not based on the assumption of similarities. They are based on a different assumption, the assumption of being unique, of reflecting what is your own uniqueness. Part of it may be real, part of it may be transient, part of it may be fantasy. Okay? But the difference is confirming to others around you versus expressing what is your own. Now, these two aspects represent what we term as the disaggregation of identities. And this has important implications. Even for a very simple example, when you hire someone, when you get the CV of someone is only a part of this person's identity. And today, almost equally important, if not more important, is what are the various information profiles you can gather on the person in the online environment. How do you in fact make sense of these multiple elements of the same person? Many companies today are struggling, and the number of examples, we document them in the book, in terms of how some companies have rejected good candidates, how people have lost offers based on this clash, this confusion about what you see as one social identity and what you discover as being some of the more personal, unique identities the same person may exhibit in a different environment.